right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Insurance Advisors Direct Friday webinar series. And here today, we're going to touch on final expense protection and who pays for final expense after your client unfortunately passes away. So folks, just a few reminders here. The presentation will be added to our YouTube page after the presentation, as well as if you have any questions, just type them in, and at the end of the presentation, I'll be glad to answer those questions. All right, so folks, without further ado, my name is Bernard Jeter with Insurance Advisors Direct, and I am the life and annuity specialist here at IAD. All right, folks. So here, let's go in here, my contact information. So with final expense, it is a primary way to protect you and your family from the immediate burden of funeral expenses. So folks, let's do this right quick. If you can hear me, just show somebody raise their hand. So let me know if you can hear me. Thank you very much. All right, so you might ask, what kind of expenses can I expect or can a person expect as part of funeral arrangements? What are the costs involved with these and how are they paid? So the immediate expenses with a funeral, of course, is the funeral service, the cemetery plot, casket, headstone, visitation, viewing, transportation, flowers, and embalming. So those additional expenses outside are like legal fees, if there are any, pay off debts, medical bills, pay off a mortgage, pay off credit cards, pay off car, legal costs of death, be it probate, taxes, and then family expenses. So how much will these items cost me and my family? So the average cost of a funeral is around $10,800. And then, that fluctuates. You'll see different stats on the cost of a funeral, but generally it can range anywhere from 8,000 to 15,000. But the median, the average cost is $10,800. So you can expect, and like I said, this is just an average, funeral director services, $2,000, the cemetery plot, $1,500, the casket, $2,500, headstone is $1,500, visitation and the viewing, $400, transportation, $600, flowers, average cost $400, embalming $600, and miscellaneous costs can be anywhere from $1,300. So, and that reaches the grand total of the average cost of $10,800 for a funeral service. So 3 important topics for every family to consider. Who is responsible to pay for these expenses? What happens to the spouse that is left behind? And what are the 3 ways to pay for these funeral costs? So let's start off with who is responsible to pay for these expenses. So your spouse, their children, and other family members that are left behind. So, your spouse, expenses must be paid before the funeral will be allowed to take place. The funds must be liquid. And then there's traditional life insurance policies, be it a term, universal life, whole life plans, employer plans, and would generally take a minimum of anywhere from 30 days to 60 days to pay out. And that's why a funeral, a final expense policy is actually an immediate pay. It may take 2 days at most for those funds to be paid out to the beneficiary. So second question is, what happens to the spouse that is left behind? So there's a loss of income, and then if couples are receiving Social Security payments, Social Security, when one spouse dies, the other will automatically receive the higher of the two Social Security payments, and the lower of the two drops off. So, for instance, a husband is receiving $1,200 a month from Social Security, and his wife is receiving $1,000. Now, if the husband passes away first, the wife will begin to receive his Social Security benefits of $1,200, but will lose hers. Social Security, they're not going to let you get the best of both worlds, where you receive his and yours, unfortunately. Right. So, and spouse that's left behind. Now, they're going to be tasked with, of course, there's the medical bills. In addition to the loss of income and the cost of funeral itself, there are usually end of life medical bills that are not covered by Medicare or Medicare supplements. So, then there's also pay off debts, mortgage, car, credit cards, any expenses we say not covered by Medicare. There may be legal fees, other legal fees, costs such as probate, taxes, and anything lingering on in the estate. And of course, medical bills, co-payments, and deductibles. So, and then there is three ways to pay. And then one is you, or the person is via your checking accounts, savings account, credit card, or even prepaid funeral expenses. So two is leave the burden to your spouse, children. This is actually the most undesirable method. No one wants to leave behind a legacy of debt. Creates a financial strain on the remaining family members to come up with the immediate cash. And I mean, I don't know about you folks. I don't want to be sitting and if I pass away, I don't want to be sitting in the funeral, in the morgue or the funeral home, waiting for my family to pay for the funeral before I'm buried. So I have a final expense policy as well, plus other insurance. So final expense, the most desirable, provides a low cost way to prepare for all of the expenses associated with the end of life. But I will say with final expense, and I know from my own personal experience, I have my outside insurance, my traditional life insurance, as well as a final expense policy. My final expense policy is what it is. It's just for final expense. So I have a $12,000 final expense policy, and that is to be used. My wife knows that is to be used only for final expense. And then my outside insurance, my family can do whatever they want, but I'm just going to make sure that my funeral will be paid for. So, additional benefits to final expense protection. Actually, it's easy to apply for. No medical exam is required. However, there are, depending on the carrier, there are underwriting questions that this person, the insured, is going to have to answer. And that's what it's all based on, is the questions that are answered. Plan can never be canceled as long as you pay the premium. Plans do build cash value, and actually there is no waiting period. And like I say, at most there's a 2-day. Folks, the beneficiaries will receive monies from the final expense within 2 days. And then, of course, there's always a way around it, even with traditional life insurance. You pass away, of course, yep, it will take 30 days, 30 to 60 days. But the funeral home, they can call that life insurance carrier. They will verify that there are funds. There's beneficiary, there are funds, policy is active. And a lot of times funeral homes will allow that funeral to take place. And the funeral home will definitely get the money because it'll be assigned to the funeral home. But with the final expense, 2 days at most, as long as generally you can get the death certificate in that amount of time. So benefits for your family. It gives yourself and your family a peace of mind, knowing that the There's this final expense policy to cover the burial of the family, because I mean, this is a volatile time for families. If someone passes away and there aren't any insurance, isn't any insurance in place to help cover that, and it's a very stressful time. Folks, they'll get on Facebook, the GoFundMe, or the spaghetti dinners, or whatever the case, and that's okay if uh, folks don't have the money for a funeral, but as you know ahead of time, and this is what us as agents, we can prepare our clients, then our clients understand that here, this is going to ease the burden, because like I say, folks are going to pull their hair out trying to raise money just to bury their loved one. So it relieves them of the financial burden, like I said, without having to do the GoFundMe pages or asking family or friends or whatever the case may be. It helps cover these immediate costs. And like I said, the funeral is the immediate cost. The additional costs are afterwards. And quite, frankly, that's what the other insurance policies are for, to take care of those other burdens. Final expense shouldn't be no more than $15,000. And that's just my philosophy. When I sell it, shouldn't be no more than $15,000 just to cover the funeral costs. And then it reduces the emotional toll on the spouse and the rest of the family. Like I said, it's a very volatile time. You don't know where folks' minds are at. They just lost a loved one, and the grieving process actually hasn't set in yet, and just an emotional time. So that final expense policy is a huge benefit for a person's family. So here's just an illustration, or actually a cost illustration, that, and you can use this presentation with your clients and then fill in the cost of funerals and what they have available or what they don't have available, so they can see this. So everybody's actually going to, on this call, is going to get a copy of this presentation that you can use with your clients. So as we said, additional plan benefits is guaranteed never to increase in price. The benefit paid to you, to your family, and can never be lowered. Money is protected from income tax because it is a life insurance policy, and funds are made available to your family almost immediately. Like I said, within 2 days of you notifying the life insurance carrier. So as you can see, these plans not only benefit you or your client, but they take care of your loved ones around you as well. And that's the most important thing. Like I was stated earlier, with my final expense, I want to make sure I'm going to be buried, have the money to be buried, and then I don't want my family to worry about anything. So that's why I have the final expense policy. Goes directly, but doesn't go directly, but is my wife knows it is mandated to go directly for all of my funeral expenses. So, folks, that ends our presentation. Like I say, we kept it short and simple. If you have any questions, please, let me see, just type your questions away in the little chat box, and I'll be glad to answer those. If not, I will definitely reach out to everyone on this call. Like I said, everyone will receive a copy of this presentation. This webinar will be posted on our YouTube page as well. If you want this presentation customized with your agency information, let us know. We can have that worked up for you, and you can, like I said, use this with your clients. They're very valuable tool, and your clients can see firsthand why they need to have a final expense policy. So folks, that is it. I see no questions. And let me just check one more time. Nope, see no questions. Everyone have a great weekend, and I will be in touch. Uh-oh, here, hold on. We got a couple of here. Last minute. Yep. Sure will. We can have this personalized. I'll send you an email asking you for your information, and then we can get that on over to you. All right, folks. So that's it. Have a great weekend and take care. Bye.